Hey there everyone, a while ago I did an African violet propagation video. I did them in a seed starting tray. A lot of them didn't take. It was mainly my fault. The humidity was hard to keep in there. I got most of them just out of these Dixie cups with a fair amount of sprouting in some of them. So these ones will be getting repotted today. As well as around the same time, maybe a couple weeks later, I tried this method. Just a cup of water, sealed off, no light getting to the roots, and we're gonna open that up and see how that looks right now. But the main point of this video is how you go from a nice African violet to something like this that will eventually turn into a nice little African violet plant, and then the cycle back around, hopefully someday get some nice flowers out of it. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and start off with the ones that I propagated up in my video, and that's the ones that came out of this tray. I don't know if you remember, I probably did about, close to 20 African violets. I neglected them a little bit. A good amount died off, unfortunately. Some of them actually got rotted off because they were too wet, and some of them dried off, just they weren't getting enough water. So we're going to try a couple other techniques and really try and get the success rate up a little bit. We're going to start off with the ones that I know have growth, like these ones that you can see the sproutings. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one's really small in there next to the stem. You can barely see it, but I'm still going to repot it today. And then I also have a couple that the leaves don't look horrible on. And I'm gonna take those out and see if there's any roots in there. If not, I'm gonna scrap them today. I'm not gonna hold on to these ones any longer than what I have. I'm gonna have to start anew, really, with the whole propagation. And if this water technique worked, which I'm thinking it did, because this leaf looks perfectly green. This is exactly what you want to see in your cuttings. This really nice, vibrant green, almost like it's just on a live plant. That means there's a root down there, something's happening where nutrients is getting to that plant. And it's probably been in that cup for about a month and a half. So if it didn't have roots, it would have died off or rotted off by now. So let's take a look at what we have right here. It's a little dry right now. Let it dry it out just for this video. Plop it upside down, it should all come out. And as you can see, there are a fair amount of roots. Alright, I'm going to start off with just adding a little bit of African violet soil. It's a Hoffman brand soil. It works really, really well for me. I always get a lot of nice flowers, and it feeds the African violets very, very well. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this little pot with that. I'll plop this guy in. Now I keep this big leaf on just for repotting, and then I'll cut off once it's settled in the soil. It just helps me not hold the actual new growth, because if I mess with that or I use that to prop it up, I might break it by accident or some of those roots. And then I'll reposition this and top the soil off. Perfect. Being very gentle around the plant, and I'll go ahead and just use a marker to tamp the soil down around it. Now the last thing I'll do is I'll just put it in a Dixie cup with no hole or anything at the bottom and fill that with water. I'll give it one quick water and fill it up. Alright, so I got those potted up. I actually got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of that repotting. Now I'm going to go ahead and check the one that I grew in just water. So I'm going to be careful because I did just poke a hole in the tinfoil and I have another piece of saran wrap underneath of it. So I'm going to have to be careful to make sure I don't pull any of the roots out with it. Alright, let's go ahead and fold these back. Yep. Very good. This actually, although it's not sending off any new plants soon, this has the most roots out of all of the other pottings I did. The other ones actually have plants to show for it, or little sproutings, but this one has a nice long root. I'm going to leave the leaf on for this and just plant the whole thing in soil and pat it down nice and gently so I don't ruin those new nice roots. But if it goes well, and I'm hoping it does, now that it's in a nice soil and it's getting some nutrients, I'm going to get a nice little plant out of that. And I'll do the same thing and put a Dixie cup under it to keep it nice and moist. Alright, thank you for watching. I'll have updates on these African violets. I'm even going to probably do another propagation video and try and get a real good success this time, but I'm going to do it with the water method, how you just saw it in that cup, and with some tin foil over it so no light can get underneath. And hopefully we have a little bit more success and plenty more African violets to come. So thank you for watching, and until next time, happy planting, guys.